Welcome to Heroes United Pantheon, where legendary heroes from Marvel, DC, Greek mythology, and beyond come together in epic battles, unexpected team-ups, and thrilling adventures. In the land of Eternia, where magic and might intertwine to protect realms both seen and unseen, an ominous ripple tore through the skies. It wasn't just a warning, it was a cry for help. The winds carried whispers of a being unlike any other, an unstoppable force so powerful that even the sword of power might shatter in its presence. The name spoken in trembling tones across Eternia was Cain Marko, Juggernaut, the exemplar of the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. For the first time in centuries, the very magic that bound Eternia's existence faltered under the shadow of a single entity. And so, the question loomed over Eternia like a storm cloud. Could even He-Man, champion of Grayskull, stand against such a force? As the epic unfolds, do not forget to subscribe, like and drop a comment for historic pantheons. Far beyond the mystical boundaries of Eternia, a rift tore through space. A portal connecting two dimensions, crafted by an ancient, reckless sorcerer searching for ultimate power. But instead of treasures or magical knowledge, the portal unleashed destruction in the form of Juggernaut. Clad in his indestructible armor, the giant emerged from the vortex with an earth-shaking roar. His massive boots crushed the soil beneath, leaving molten craters as Eternia's magical essence strained against his presence. "Where am I?" Juggernaut growled, his voice reverberating through the mountains. "It doesn't matter. I go where I please, and nothing can stop me." Castle Grayskull's ancient magic stirred in alarm. The sorceress appeared within its hallowed halls, her voice echoing as she communed with He-Man across great distances. "Prince Adam," she warned, her tone grave, "a great power threatens Eternia. This being, Juggernaut, is beyond anything we have faced. Even the sword of power may falter against his strength. You must be prepared." Prince Adam's brow furrowed as he stood atop the royal palace's parapets. Without hesitation, he raised his sword high, its blade gleaming in the sunlight. "By the power of Grayskull," he bellowed, transforming into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. But even as He-Man strode into the heart of Eternia's wilderness to confront this new threat, an unshakable feeling of dread lingered. Deep down, He-Man knew this foe was unlike any other. Juggernaut's rampage brought him to the Valley of Eternity, where towering crystal spires reflected the realm's boundless energy. As he stomped forward, the crystalline structures exploded like glass under his immense weight. He-Man approached, sword of power in hand, his golden locks glowing in the sunlight. "Halt, stranger." He-Man's voice carried authority. "You've trespassed into a land of peace. State your purpose, or leave before harm befalls you." Juggernaut turned, his eyes narrowing. The champion of Grayskull barely came up to his chest, but there was no mistaking the raw energy radiating from the warrior. "Leave," Juggernaut grinned. "Do you have any idea who you're talking to? Nothing stops me, nothing defeats me, and certainly, no little sword-swinging runt is going to stand in my way." He-Man's grip on the sword of power tightened. "You leave me no choice," He-Man declared. He lunged, swinging his sword with precision and strength, the blade shimmering with the magic of Grayskull. The strike connected with Juggernaut's chest, sending shockwaves that rippled across the valley. But Juggernaut didn't flinch. Instead, he grinned wider. "Nice trick," he said, delivering a thunderous punch that sent He-Man hurtling through the air. For the first time, He-Man felt the sting of helplessness. Juggernaut's momentum was his deadliest weapon. Once he charged, no force in the universe could stop him. He tore through Eternia's enchanted forest, leaving destruction in his wake. He-Man regrouped, using every ounce of his strength to slow Juggernaut's advance. They clashed repeatedly, each strike shaking the land and testing the limits of Eternia's magic. But Juggernaut seemed impervious to exhaustion. Even the most powerful spells from the sorceress barely scratched his indestructible armor. "Is that all you got?" Juggernaut taunted, his voice booming. "I thought you were supposed to be the strongest here. Show me." He-Man's jaw tightened. He had never faced an opponent who absorbed his might so effortlessly. Still, he refused to yield. For Eternia, He-Man roared, channeling the Sword of Power's full energy into a blinding beam. The blast struck Juggernaut squarely, creating an explosion that shook the heavens. As the dust settled, Juggernaut emerged, unfazed. "You hit hard," he admitted, brushing rubble off his armor. "But you're out of your league." Kid, realizing he couldn't defeat Juggernaut alone, He-Man called upon his trusted allies, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and even the enigmatic sorceress herself. Together, they devised a desperate plan to exploit Juggernaut's one potential weakness, his connection to the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. "If we sever his link to the gem," the sorceress explained, "he'll lose his invincibility." The team launched a coordinated assault, drawing Juggernaut toward the Crater of Shadows, a mystical chasm brimming with energy capable of disrupting magical connections. He-Man fought valiantly to distract Juggernaut, enduring blow after blow as his allies worked frantically to prepare the trap. But Juggernaut was no fool. He sensed the trap and turned his fury toward He-Man's companions. One by one, they fell, incapacitated by his unstoppable onslaught. Finally, only He-Man remained, blooded but unbowed. "You're strong," Juggernaut admitted, "but strength alone won't save you." He-Man stood at the edge of the Crater of Shadows, his chest heaving, his golden armor cracked and tarnished. Juggernaut charged, the ground quaking with every step. "If I'm going down," He-Man whispered, "I'll take you with me." As Juggernaut closed in, He-Man plunged the Sword of Power into the ground, unleashing a cataclysmic wave of energy. The blast engulfed them both, dragging Juggernaut into the heart of the Crater of Shadows. When the dust settled, Juggernaut rose from the crater, his armor cracked but his spirit unbroken. He-Man lay unconscious, his Sword of Power dim but still intact. Juggernaut stood over him, victorious. "You fought well," Juggernaut said, a note of respect in his voice. But nothing stops the Juggernaut. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Eternia scarred but still standing. He-Man awoke in Castle Grayskull, tended to by his friends. Though beaten, he vowed to grow stronger, to prepare for the day when Juggernaut might return. Eternia had survived, but at a cost. The legend of the Juggernaut's might would live on, a reminder of the price of heroism and the strength required to stand against the unstoppable.